we have a guest. Josh, please introduce yourself and tell the listeners of your podcast. Self promote as much as you want.
How about
Well, thank you very much. My name is Josh. I have done the Craft Beer Cast for 8 years and about 400 episodes. Believe it or not, before Mike actually found me, I used to do a comic book podcast as
Oh,
well.
wow.
It's long dead, but yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right, so we're here to talk about Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok, the movie before Avengers Infinity. We're getting so close to Avengers Infinity. Oh my gosh. I'm not even ready. We have to record that soon, and I haven't even started show notes or anything. Hold on. Oh my goodness. So Thor Ragnarok that's a preview to the listeners. Let them know what's going on. The last time we saw Thor, it was after the terrible Thor in the dark. Was it Dark World? Is it Dark World? Dark Elves?
Yeah. Dark World.
Thor
Yeah,
in the Dark World.
Yeah, and basically Thor just walks off. He's like, "I'm going to go protect the rest of the realm," And then we find out that Loki has taken over Odin's place, and then we get here a different tone for the Thor movies. This movie is kind of more funny, I think, after the success of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Marvel was like, "Why don't you try to do something like that?" And there's some good things about
colors going on in here too.
Yeah. So A's colors. There's some good things going on, but there's also a lot of like questionable decisions. I don't know. Josh, what was your initial thoughts of the movie when you first saw it, and what do you think of it now?
So number one, my mind went, "Holy crap! Are we getting Planet Hulk?"
Dude, don't even. Dude? Okay. We did not get Planet Hulk, and that makes me so upset.
I know. I'm the biggest.
All right. What is Planet Hulk? I have no idea what you guys are talking about right now.
You do the favors from this one, because I could go on for days.
All right, so it's pretty simple. Hulk gets banished to a planet from the Avengers because Hulk does Hulk things, and they all got upset with him. They banished him to a planet, and he just basically was a gladiator on this planet and just kicked butt the entire time. And I saw him in that armor, and I went, "Oh my god!"
Man. And not just that, it's like he's a gladiator, and then he frees all the gladiators, and they become like Spartan revolutionaries, and then he falls in love. He becomes king. He's betrayed, and then he comes back to Earth angry, stronger than he's ever been, with like an arm behind him, and just imagine if someone at Marvel Studios said, "Okay, listen, we're going to do a Planet Hulk thing instead of Avengers Infinity War. We can do Avengers Infinity War wherever we want. But if we do the Planet Hulk thing right, it's going to be fun, right?" And imagine a storyline where Doctor Strange and Iron Man and who else? It was one of the Inhumans, Black Bolt and some others. They banish Hulk to a planet in a movie, right? At the end of Age of Ultron, right? They banish Hulk. They just shoot him off into space, right? And then imagine if he comes back and like 4 movies later, and he's like pissed, and like New York's trashed. He beats up the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the X-Men, he fights the Sentry. It's so good, and we won't ever see that in a movie ever. It's kind of depressing. Once they did that, once they did Thor Ragnarok and already did the gladiator type deal, it's kind of like this got washed away, which is, it is what it is.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, God, everything you just said was like a comic nerd's wet dream, especially somebody that loves Hulk.
Yeah, man, I would say. My friend of mine bought me the Planet Hulk graphic novel. It's a huge, like, properly bound hardcover graphic novel, and I read the whole thing in like 2 days. And Hulk, it's hard to explain to people why Hulk's awesome until you read that and you realize like the Hulk's awesome because he's super powerful, but he also deals with the same things that we all deal with, like inferiority complexes and like trying to fit in and try not to. And like the thing about Planet Hulk is at the end, he was married, his wife was pregnant, he was ruling the entire world, and then he lost it all. He lost it all. And like it's just heartbreaking at the very end. And at the very, it's just I can keep going forever.
Is his wife Hulk sized? I've got to know.
She's pretty big.
Okay, all right.
She's pretty tall, and oddly sexy. It's yeah. But and then, I hate to say this. I hate saying this. But Thor Ragnarok is indicative of some of the other problem that Marvel has, which is like, and you're kind of seeing that somewhat now with the What If comics. It's like it's like I don't know if they're not planning like 10 steps ahead or if they're not thinking of the future, but Planet Hulk is a really good story that technically they can't do now. And I don't know if they were thinking, if they were smart about it. And like the tone of Thor Ragnarok 2, it doesn't feel good to me. It feels odd. It makes some weird decisions. And we haven't even got to the part where they destroy Mjolnir. Like the hammer is just the classic iconic hammer of Thor, Mjolnir, is destroyed like 10 minutes in the movie. And then like as a Marvel fan, I mean, as an MCU fan, you're probably looking at like, oh, that's cool. What's next? But as a Marvel fan, you're like, no, like we need that. We need to have. I like the hammer. Like you can't just. I don't know. Josh, what did you feel the same way?
Yeah, totally. Like you can't destroy Mau. It's freaking Mau.
Yeah, it's just odd decisions. And then we get other decisions as well.
Like it's made out of like the heart of a dying star, right? Like
yes,
you can't crush that with your hand.
Well, it's supposed to highlight how powerful Hela was, and I think that does a good job. But you get that energy, you get that little thing, you get that little energy from that for like a second. Like instead of like having the hammer around and having it be so cool for so long, now it's destroyed, and now we don't have it, and it's just. It feels weird to me that the editorial decisions they made for this movie just feel odd. It's a fun movie to watch. I think it's super fun. I'd watch it again over and over again.
Yeah, it's definitely fun.
But it's just it's something about the movie that always the Thor movies never felt like they really knew what they wanted to do with them versus like the Captain America movies, right? It's like if you look at Captain America. And the movies they made with him, those movies are fleshed out, thought out, good. And then the Thor movies, they feel good, but not nearly as well as some of the other ones.
So Marvel definitely knew what they were doing when they put Hulk in the gladiator outfit in a coliseum.
Yeah, yeah. And like I think if like guys like Josh and I were probably like, yes, we're going to go see Planet Hulk, let's go. And then we went and saw it and was like, that's nothing like Planet Hulk. This is not Planet Hulk. But there is some cool things. Like Hulk took over Banner's body for extended like 2 years. And then when Banner does come out, he's like, well, I've been Hulk for 2 years. That was cool. And of course we do get cool fight scenes and stuff like that, but still it's nothing like you would have gotten. Mike, I would suggest that you buy the Planet Hulk graphic novel, but I know you won't read it, so I'm not going to suggest that.
Maybe if they do that new vertical scrolling, like a vertical scrolling version of the Planet Hulk stuff, I could maybe get into that.
Can't you do a setting? You can make a setting where you just click on the panels.
Yeah, I did that with the zombies, and I still had problems. But they've got this new thing where it's vertical scrolling. It's made for like reading comics on your phone, where you just keep scrolling, and that's how you read the comic.
Are you reading this on your phone? Are you reading it on your phone?
No. I read the zombies on my iPad, but they've got a new thing. Marvel has a new thing in their comic app. They call it like Infinity Comics, I think. And it's vertical scrolling, so you just keep scrolling like you're reading Twitter to read the comic.
Is that good or bad? I think it's bad.
It's good for me. I haven't done it yet, but it sounds like it would be good for me because my whole thing is I read ahead or see things ahead and spoil reading comics for myself. That's the reason I don't read comics.
Josh, do you used to read comics, right?
Oh yeah.
First, how can you afford it? And second, do you read paper or do you read on iPad?
Well, not iPad. I actually read it on my Microsoft Surface.
Oh, cool.
And oh my God, like, yeah, it's glorious. And all right, one last note about Hulk before we move on into my other favorite thing about this movie is, have you read Jay the Immortal Hulk?
I've heard some good things. I've heard some really good things.
Oh my gosh.
I need to check it out. I've heard some good things.
Yeah. It's super good.
Yeah, I've heard some good. I just read that one of the artists for that, didn't he get canned like just recently, I think? I'm wrong on that.
No, it didn't get. He was wrapping up his story.
Okay. No, I've heard good things about it. No.
Immortal Hulk, is that like Hulk, is that in the recent What If, Hulk was saying how he basically cannot die? Does that tie into Immortal Hulk, the comic series?
A little bit. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but there is a Fantastic Four power that he gets.
Wait. Which one?
I'm not going to spoil it.
Dude, now I gotta read it because I'm thinking I'm just going through the list of all the powers. Like, wait, which one's? Like, is that one? No, I gotta read it. Okay, great, awesome.
Yeah.
So usually what happens is like Mike asks me some questions about Thor Ragnarok, and then I answer back and forth. I think Josh, I think it'd be fun if you did it this time. How you? You feel confident in your skills?
Oh, answering my questions?
Yeah.
Good. Let's try it.
All right, Mike, you go for it.
What can you tell me about this Surtur guy? Is he in the comics at all? I don't remember him from the Norse mythology. That's the big fire demon guy with the awesome helmet.
Surtur. Surtur.
Yeah, Surtur.
Surtur, yeah.
Oh, Surtur? Yeah. As far as I can remember, he is kind of like a quote unquote bad guy in the Thor
he's
universe.
Definitely a villain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's not a major one. He's probably back from the Stevenson runs. The only thing I remember from him is like he's massive, like he's huge, and he is connected to the Ragnarok idea in the comics, but he doesn't really get a lot of play in Thor in comics that I remember. So it's not like a big deal, but he's definitely from the comics, 100%. Like the idea that he would first fight Thor and then second become big enough to destroy Asgard. I totally forgot what Asgard's name is. It's definitely from the comics, 100%.
Okay. I didn't remember the plot of this movie, so when I first started rewatching it and saw him in the cave with Thor, I was like, "Oh, this is our big bad for this movie. He's tricking Thor. Thor's going to kill him, quote unquote, take his helmet, take it to Asgard. That's basically what this guy wants him to do, but none of that happens." So I don't
know if that's what he wanted to do.
But I think that could have been a cool plot for a movie.
That could have been a cool plot, But this at the beginning of the movie, real quick, the tone where like they just joke, like Thor's spinning. That's not funny. And then we get the Led Zeppelin track. That's pretty fun too.
And the hammer fight. I know you probably love that, right, Jay?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Or like the camera's tracking the hammer as it like flies around and
that's awesome, 100%.
Decimates everybody
until it gets destroyed, which is depressing. But it's it's good. Yeah. 100%. All right, what you got next, Mike?
There's a Thor and Loki play in here where we have Matt Damon playing Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who was playing Thor? I did not recognize that guy.
I don't either.
I'm 90% sure that was Ben Affleck.
I mean, that would make sense, but it didn't seem like Ben Affleck.
It's Luke Hemsworth. This is his brother, Luke.
Ah, okay.
I didn't recognize him. Huh?
Yeah, did not recognize him. Okay, that's cool. Did they ever do anything like that in the comics at all? It just seems like a really weird thing to do in the movie. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Jay, in one of our previous episodes, you were talking about how one of the end credit scenes was basically lifted straight from this movie, where Doctor Strange is talking to Thor about getting Loki out of here. So we see that again.
Yeah.
that was just really, really weird. They've never done that before, have they? Like just lifting a scene straight off of a movie and using it for end credits.
No, but this way they were just promoting Thor Ragnarok through Doctor Strange, so that's why they were doing it at that point. But no. But that is showing at the time how connected the movies were and how they were leading up to something big. So it's not surprising. And actually, they did. If you go back to Captain America: Civil War, no, it's Ant-Man. If you go to Ant-Man. In Ant-Man, at the end, they show it's the Winter Soldier. Yeah, we talked about that. At the end, the Winter Soldier's trapped, and that is a scene from Civil War. So yeah, they do that. They do that.
Okay, that seemed really weird to me. Yeah. All right, in this movie, there's Hela, Thor's sister. When I read the Norse mythology, there's Hel, who is basically the goddess in charge of hell, or their version of it. I don't remember. I'm assuming this is like a composite they did in the comics. Is Hela from the comics?
Yep.
She do this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
No. If you've read Jason Aaron's run of Thor, I don't know if Jay, you have.
I have not.
Yeah, Hela is. Yeah, she's real. And quick little side story, by the way. At Heroes Con, that is here in Charlotte, I got to meet Isab, who did a lot of the covers of and art for Jason Aaron's Thor.
Dude, that's
Thor
awesome.
Run. And I only brought like 2 comics for him to sign. And he was just like, do you have more? Do you have more? Like, let's talk. Let's talk. And he was so amazing. So amazing. Like,
dude, those covers are the Thor covers. I remember as a kid, they were always awesome. Like the Thor, the covers for those are always so good.
And he was amazing. And Jason Aaron's run was. Oof. You should read it, Jay. I'm adding more stuff to your read file.
Oh, I have a huge list already. Josh, so when you were reading comics, do you remember Hela having these same power levels? Because I don't remember her being this powerful.
Well, like I said, in Jason Aaron's run, she did get that power level. And yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was weird, but
so is she Odin's firstborn in the comics?
Not to know of, Josh.
Yeah, and I was to say not that I can remember either.
Okay, so just she is their sister, or no? She's just like some character.
As far as I can
from
remember,
what I remember.
Oh, go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, as far as I remember, she's just like part of she's just like one of like the Asgardian gods, right? Like this kind of not generic god, but she doesn't have any blood relation to Odin.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a weird thing for them to do in this.
Yeah, it is, and we don't know a lot about this in the movie. They don't explain who's her mom. You know, like that might be the most obvious thing because we know Thor's mom, played by Renee Russo, who was great in the role. Awesome. She had Thor, and then we know Loki was adopted, but who did she?
Yeah, Hela didn't come back and say, "Hey, where's mom at?"
No, she says, "Oh, where's dad?" Like, did Odin do something with himself to have a child by himself? We never really know. So no, and I keep thinking she was trapped in that wherever she was for 5,000 years. Like, what do you do for 5,000 years in trap like that? Do you talk? What do you do? Was she was it a coma? Was it she was just kind of this is odd.
Seems like she did a lot of training.
Yeah, she was very fit. That's true. Strong enough to squeeze Thor's hammer and blow it up, which is still what? Okay. I can't get over that. I'm sorry. I can't get over that. Cannot get over that. What a weird decision.
It was. It was.
And Josh, not real quick, we can talk about this for a minute. In the comics, I had to do a lot of reading this. Thor's powers are connected to the hammer, right? Like he can't do this on his own.
Yeah, no, it's all Mau Mau. Like if you don't have Mau Mau, that's it.
And it makes sense because when in the comics when Jane Foster gets the hammer and becomes Thor, she gets all his powers, right? And so it's like I don't know why in the MCU they had to separate the powers from the. What do you think about that? Like, is there a reason why they did that?
I'm not 100% sure. Although I do have to shout out again Jason Aaron's run of Thor, because when we see the opening of this movie, that is the unworthy Thor. Like he lost his hammer, and Taika Waititi, I love Taika so much.
Mm-hmm.
He made some weird decisions with this movie.
Really did.
Like pulling from the depths of the comics all around, but not really connecting the dots.
Like when I read the Thor series where Jane Foster, I'm not sure who wrote that, but there was a scene. There's a cool little scene where Thor has lost his hammer because he lost his arm. So I think he has like a new arm maybe, but he definitely has lost a hammer. So he has an axe and he's riding on a goat. Right? And like for a movie like Thor Ragnarok, to have Thor like riding the battle on a flying goat would have been just cool. I don't know why he didn't do that. It's just odd.
That's still Jason Aaron. So
okay. So I have read some of that, so that's good. So I'm not totally off. So that's great.
In the mythology, obviously Thor's a god, so he doesn't really need the hammer. He's just powerful all on his own. He definitely uses the hammer a lot in the mythology, but he doesn't need it.
So from my understanding, in the Marvel comics, so we're talking about the 616 universe. The hammer is where all of Thor's power resides, and like the whole blessing from Odin, like whoever is worthy gains the power of Thor, is because it's tied to the hammer. So to destroy the hammer, it leaves a lot of questions, and we have to start thinking about Thor: Love and Thunder coming up, because we know that Natalie Portman's going to be in that, and she's going to take the hammer. Where does she get that from exactly? Like, are they going to pull more multiverse stuff out their ass like they usually like they're doing now? Like, I'm very curious about what they're going to do.
Yeah, I totally feel the same way. Like,
Josh, you got any favorite theories on where that hammer comes from, or they're just going to write it into being?
I'm pretty sure they're just going to write it into, hey, Natalie Portman is now Lady Thor, and cool.
I have a fantasy that we see a scene when Natalie Portman walks up in Norway to where the hammer was destroyed, and it's still laying there, and she like picks it up and reforms itself.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, so Marvel, if you like the idea, you can pay me $20,000, $30,000, and I'll cash that check, baby. Somehow Marvel's like, it's not a bad idea, actually. Anyway, Mike, keep going.
So before we meet Hela, Odin dies in this. What do y'all think of
that? Odin dying or almost dying is a running theme in the comics, right? Josh?
Yep.
Yeah. So we get that a lot, and it's always like I think Odin does die, and Thor does become like he gets what's the name of the power? The Odin source? The Odin is an actual name for the power that Odin has. Anyway, as a time where Odin dies and Thor gets all that power. So yeah, Thor dies a lot. I mean, not Thor, Odin. Odin dies, yeah.
But I'm expected for you guys.
No, Josh, go ahead.
I was going to say that's one of the comics that I got Isab to.
Oh, cool!
Sign, is Odin dying, and it's Odin like. Oh! I need to post some pics.
Yeah, dude, please give us some pics, and we'll put in the show notes. It'd be awesome. But like, I feel like Odin. If you look at the movies, right? Like Thor 1, he gets sick. He gets sick. Thor 2, Odin disappears. Thor 3, Odin dies. Like, is it because like Anthony Hopkins just doesn't want to do? He's like Anthony Hopkins, like, I don't want to do a whole bunch of stuff. Can you kill me off? We killed you last 2 movies. Just do it again. I don't
just do it again.
Anthony Hopkins shows up to set. You've got 20 minutes. I will do whatever you want for 20 minutes, and then I'm out of here.
All right. Can we talk about my favorite part of Thor?
Yes, please.
No, what is it?
Jeff Goldblum is the collector.
He's the Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
Yeah, that was such a inspired.
Yes.
Oh, that was
really
so good.
It's really
that
good.
was so good.
All right, Josh, tell us about the Grandmaster from the comics. Like, what all is there about him from the comics?
So here's where I fault. I don't know the Grandmaster from the comics at all.
I just read the Thanos quest from way back in the mid 80s, 90s, where Thanos actually goes and gets the Infinity Gems from the Grandmaster, the Collector, and a couple other people. So the Grandmaster is supposedly just like some kind of older god who's just around the universe, but he's the guy who creates the contest of champions. I don't know if you read that as a kid. It was a little bit before my time as reading comics, but the contest of champions where the death kills the Collector apparently, and the Grandmaster makes a deal with death. He's like, I'm going to get my champions, you get your champions. They'll fight, and whoever wins, if I win, I get the Collector. If you win, I'll die too. So the contest of champions was like one of those first comic wide storylines. Like, and then we got like Secret Wars, and then we got the Infinity War, and then of course like you got the one DC did. So it's one of those kind of storylines. And it was supposed to be a comic where like Iron Man would fight like Doctor Doom, or Spider-Man would fight like Psylocke, or Wolverine would fight like the Punisher or something like that. And it was supposed to be like that, but of course they didn't do that in this movie. That's all I know about it. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
No. As we've said, there was a lot of missteps in this movie. It's still good. Like, I was still excited watching it, and to see Taika in his first Marvel movie, like directing it, I was like, you're going places.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel bad, like, cause like he just mentions like the Grandmaster's like Jeff Goldblum's like, I'm the Grandmaster and I have a contest of champions, and that's it. That's all we hear of the contest of champions. It was a major Marvel event in the history, and if you read comics when you were a kid, you were like, oh man, the contest of champions, and that's all you're going to get. That's it. Well, maybe they'll have another one where they'll do it again, but I don't know. But I
do you think there's going to be a point where like Marvel just decides to completely wipe everything off the table, pretend that none of this stuff happened, and then they get a chance to do like the contest of champions or Planet Hulk or whatever in the future?
100%, probably sooner than you think, right, Josh?
I hope. I am so excited if we get a Planet Hulk movie or a television show.
Oh yeah, a Disney Plus series, Josh. Planet Hulk, like a 10-episode series.
Stop.
That would be so good. And then at the end, he comes back to Earth and it becomes a movie. You know, where like it's like the movie where he returns.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah,
dude,
that would be great.
So good. Like and listen, we're just a couple of guys doing a podcast. I guarantee you there are people at Marvel yelling and screaming and asking for the same things that we're asking, and the higher ups are like, we focus tested that. We don't think it's going to work. Like, what do you it's just, they do risks like make Loki, right? Which I think it was a success. But they won't make risks making Planet Hulk, which would be an unmitigated success. It would generate money. Like it would. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's depressing, but also, I mean, Mike, you are right. At some point, because we've already established the multiverse, at some point Marvel could just wipe stuff away, or just say that like the Planet Hulk happened on a different universe. They could do that. So
yeah.
Keep on, Mike. I'm sure you got probably a lot going on. You got a lot.
We're halfway through. We're
halfway through them. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, the way that Thor and Loki escape is they call the Bifrost, and Hela, where Loki does it, like bad mistake because Hela gets into the Bifrost. They're all going up to Asgard, but Hela kind of kicks their butts and throws them out of the Bifrost. They fall out of the Bifrost, and that's how they land up on the Grandmaster's planet.
Correct.
That was really weird. I was like, I saw them fall out of the Bifrost. It looked really cool because the Bifrost like kind of turns into crystals as they hit the edge of it. And then I would think they were just like kind of out floating in space, but they fall through those portals onto the Grandmaster's planet, which kind of made me call back to the Loki series and that void at the end of time.
Yeah. I hate to say this to you, Mike, but that's not in the comics, right, Josh? There's no like Bifrost as they've made it in the movie, right?
Right. Yeah. No.
It's like they pretty much took the Rainbow Bridge, which was literally like a bridge, like a rainbow bridge that you would walk from Asgard to Earth. So it was very stylized. So yeah, that's not at all. I think it looks cool, but it's not in comics at all.
Okay. All right. What about Hela's crown?
No,
in this movie, whenever she's getting ready to get into a fight, she pulls her hair back, and as she's doing that, a crown grows on her head.
That's how she looked in comics, but she never. If I'm wrong, Josh, I think I'm right. Like her crown, the way she looked with the crown, was always like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's how she always looked. So
okay, my son was thinking like it was some kind of power multiplier whenever she put the crown on.
No, I like your son's thinking, and we do need to get your son on the podcast.
Right?
I say exotic. She's putting on exotic. Now she has a special power, Dad. And like, no, it's
right.
It's kind of and like, who's that actress's name? I don't know why I forgot her name because I love her so much. Cate Blanchett. Cate Blanchett wasn't karate kicking people and flying around throwing knives. Everybody, like, they took her face and they put it onto something else, like just to make everybody know that for sure. Like, I'm pretty sure Cate Blanchett might have been on set for like 24 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. But she was so good in that movie. Like,
yeah, she was great. She was excellent. She was awesome. Her voice and her attitude was perfect. 100%. Yeah. Hey, how do you get someone like Cate Blanchett to do that role? Like, what? I guess you just keep throwing dollars at her until she says, "Okay."
Money.
Yeah, I guess. How much is that? You know, like, hey Jarvis, you want to do a? Yes, I will do a role in Marvel. Oh, money.
I mean, I don't know. Cate Blanchett actually seems like she's kind of cool. She's really into movies and stuff. She had an uncredited role in Hot Fuzz, directed by Edgar Wright, where you can't even tell it's her because she's wearing a face mask, but she's like a CSI investigator on a scene, and she's in like this one little scene in that movie. It was pretty cool, but Cate Blanchett.
Really?
You just referenced the Cornetto trilogy.
I've referenced that some of those movies several times during this podcast. So yeah, I love Edgar Wright.
So I kind of legally stayed in London in the area of where they shot all those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pouring one out right now for Edgar Wright's turn at Ant-Man.
Yeah, that was a mess.
Yeah.
Did you guys so Edgar Wright, I watched Shaun of the Dead and I watched Hot Fuzz. I didn't watch the last. What was the third one?
At the World's End.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, but I should and I will.
It's good. Yeah.
Did you guys really like? Did you guys expect? Because like the energy of Shaun of the Dead, I would have loved for that to be an Ant-Man, but like, I don't know. I mean, I guess he was too much for Marvel. Like, what do you guys know this?
No. So here's the thing. He wanted it to be a standalone movie where it's Ant-Man and you don't inject the rest of the MCU in it. And whoever at Marvel wouldn't let that stand, and so he kind of walked away from it. But then later on, we get what is it? We get Doctor Strange and we get Black Panther, that are fully standalone movies. And Jay, you and I loved both of those movies, and I think the fact that it's not polluted with a whole bunch of tie-ins that don't really need to be there is part of why I enjoyed this.
Oh, I think that's probably something else. I think what I think happened. I think that's true what you just said, but also I think Edward Wright was kind of sick of someone behind him every 5 seconds saying, "You gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do that." You know?
Yeah, I mean he'd been working on Ant-Man since before Marvel was doing movies.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
He'd been pitching it to like some other studio that had the rights at the time, and he'd been working on it with them. Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely what happened. He got sick of that. Oh, sad. I wonder if he'll do another one.
I still think I think like 80% or somewhere around there of his script is intact, because there's definitely scenes in there in Ant-Man where you can say, okay, yeah, Edgar wrote this scene. It's a great scene. Yeah.
Yep.
What's that woman in that movie that played Hope? What's her name?
Hope Van Dyne. Yeah, I can't remember the actress' name.
She's from Lost.
Yeah.
I forget her name. I just like the way she walks. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. My wife doesn't listen to this podcast, so I don't have to worry about it.
All right.
If I want to hide secrets about my life, I can do it in public here, and my wife will never hear it. And neither will any of my friends. They don't listen to it. I know my mom listens to this. My mom does. And she secretly listens to this, and she's like, "I like your podcast." Like, thanks, Mom.
All right. Well, Jay's mom, don't tell Jay's wife about that.
Yeah, don't do that. We gotta hurry up, Mike. Keep going.
All right. They talk about. They say this a few times in the movie. So this has to be from the comics. One of you, it has to be. They call Thor the Lord of Thunder.
That was a joke though, because like he's the god of thunder, but like the Grandmaster just calls him the Lord of Thunder. So like he's not totally getting it right.
So there's no storyline where he's the Lord of Thunder.
Am I wrong in that, Josh?
Comics?
No, Jay, you're not at all. It was a joke.
Yeah. All right. I thought for sure there was like some storyline.
Yeah, he called him Sparkles. Remember that? He's like, "I'm the God of Thunder." He's like, "Oh, Sparkle! Look at that."
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep.
That was great. That was funny.
All right, Thor fighting Hulk. They do that in this movie.
So, y'all know that Thor. So Thor versus Hulk is a classic matchup that in comics, whenever it happens, yes, I want to watch that. And I remember very, very distinctly in Avengers when they gave us that fight scene where Thor just nails Hulk in the jaw with the hammer. I'm like, that's exactly why I paid $10 to see that. So yeah, it happens in the comics quite a bit. Now in Planet Hulk, Thor is nowhere in there, so he doesn't fight. But and Josh, I know we'll hopefully see this once. Silver Surfer is in Planet Hulk, and they fight. And I thought that was a great fight scene in the comics. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, they have fought so many times. It's not even funny. Like,
no, yeah, it's a classic fight. I mean, at some point, I would love someone to write like the definitive Thor versus Hulk, like end of the world type fight scene. It's just so good because like the power levels are kind of like the same. I feel like I think in the comics, Thor and Hulk are definitely closer to the power levels. In the movies, the Hulk is so much bigger than Thor. But in the comics, they actually kind of the size are actually almost similar, kind of. So, but I think the movie does do a good job of showing the power levels of Thor versus Hulk. Like Hulk is like Thor's no pushover, right? He's going to be able to fight Hulk and make it competitive. So I think the fight scene was good. I think the fight scene was good. I will say that the fight scene good.
Yeah. All right, who won the fight?
What?
But who won the fight in the movie? No, in the movie. Who won the fight?
I would say, so in the movie, Thor is unleashing his power, but then like the Grandmaster stops him and then Hulk knocks him out. I guess technically Thor won it, but technically Hulk won it. I guess it's like I don't know, it's not a win. It's just kind of I don't know. A bout.
Josh, do you have a take on that?
Yeah, it was tie. Like it's the worst thing to happen in football ever. It's a tie.
It's why people. It's like Americans don't like soccer because we get ties. It's like,
right.
It's so funny. But like, okay, here's my problem with the fight scene. If Hulk and Thor are going to fight, it's going to be like an epic battle, and like we do get some of that. But then when next time we see them, Hulk and Thor are like hanging out, and Hulk's walking across the screen with his butt and his penis is kind of flopping around. We don't get to see that, thank God. But like, it's just the movie has a strange tone that I just can't really deal with because, and again, this is probably because of Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk was a serious dark place, and like we don't. And Sakura, where the movie takes place, is in the books, but it's different, and it's so much. I don't know. It's just a different tone than I was expecting, I guess.
All right, I'm tapped out as far as questions go until we get into the in credit scenes. What else?
Okay.
What else do y'all want to tell us about this?
Josh, is there anything else from the movie that relates to the comics that you want to highlight? I got like one or two things.
No, actually, go ahead.
One thing is Valkyrie, the character Valkyrie. There is now in the comics a Valkyrie, right? Jane Foster's a Valkyrie, right? Josh?
Yep.
She was, but they didn't have Valkyries in the old Thor comics. Or am I wrong? I think I'm wrong. I can't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure like the other good Thor run outside of the dude that I've pimped 1,000 times on the show would be Walt Simonson, and
so good.
Yeah,
so he retweeted me once.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I tweeted about him, and he retweeted it and said thank you. So I said, he's so good. I was talking about his art. He said thank you. I was like,
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
That was pretty cool. So there's only two more things I want to talk about is Korg. In the comics, Korg is a super powerful warrior, super tough. He's like his power levels are on par Hulk, and like they're basically like sidekick. He's like not Hulk's sidekick, almost like his best friend in the comic in Planet Hulk. In this movie, he's kind of a joke, which is fine. But then you got Meek. And Meek, Mike, that little bug, that little insect kind of warrior. In the comic, he's actually a pretty serious and heartbreaking story about him and his family and everything that happened to him. And spoiler alert, he's one of the reasons why Hulk is betrayed. I don't want to get too much into it, but the Meek that you see in the movie it's fine. I mean, it's fine, but just in the Planet Hulk, Meek is like a super serious character who has a lot of things going on, and just to see him as like a little joke that's like a 3-second throwaway joke is just it's not kind of depressing. It is depressing, but I mean, it is what it is. We've already talked about that. But again, I think Josh will tell you this too. If you liked or think you like the idea of a gladiator Hulk on a strange world, please just buy Planet Hulk graphic novel on your Microsoft tablet. What's it called? Microsoft Surface, yeah, or your iPad, or just get the book. If you are a Hulk fan, you will enjoy it. You will 100% enjoy it.
You guys talked about Hulk doing he basically started a revolution on Planet Hulk, right?
Yep.
So that is kind of the tie-in to Korg here.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
But then of course you get the destruction of Ragnarok at the end of this. Asgard does get destroyed in the comics. I think it's a cycle if I'm correct. Josh might know more about this, but I do know that at some point didn't it get destroyed before the Civil War comics? Josh?
Dude, it's been destroyed like 1,000 freaking times. Like it's the cycle of it. It's there. It gets destroyed. New gods show up. I mean, even in mythology, not even like comic books, it gets destroyed constantly. Mm-hmm. It's like this crazy cycle.
Oh, I mean, I like that. I like the idea of the cycle. I wish I need to read more to get a. But Thor's outside of the cycle, right? When it happens consistently, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So maybe that's something that they can talk about in the upcoming movies. Maybe Asgard will get rebuilt. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun.
They relocated to Earth in this one though.
He did not, but okay. We get some post credit scenes. Mike, go for it.
All right. The first one, we got a mid credit scene. Jeez, I should have taken a better note on this.
It's Loki and Thor, and they're kind of like talking to each other, right?
Yeah.
And then and Loki's like, "Do you really think you should take me to Earth?" And Thor's like, "Yeah, well, we'll see." And then of course we get the Thanos ship. Oh God!
What?
It gets. Wait, what?
I did not notice the Thanos anything.
What? Okay, you saw the credit scene, right?
I did. Yeah.
You saw the ship that they saw.
Yeah, that was the Thanos thing. Like, I lost it.
Mike, did you blink?
I may have blinked. It was getting kind of late.
Dude, okay, so for almost 10 years or so, we've been waiting for Thanos to show up. And he finally does in a massive ship. And we know that the next Marvel movie is going to be the Infinity War, which has been building up since Iron Man 1, basically. And and then Mike, you didn't see it.
Yeah, I should probably go back and rewatch that. My note that I have for the mid-credit scene is everything is going to turn out fine.
Well, that's what Thor says, and then he looks up and he sees the Thanos ship. That was the coolest thing for me because I was like, finally, we're getting the Infinity War. Yes, we're getting it. Yes, we're moving forward. Yes, good, great. And poor Asgardians, we can't go too much into this now. We'll get to it next time, but they really get the short end of the stick every time. Their whole worlds a weird sister shows up and kills a bunch of them, destroys their world. They have to escape on a big spaceship, and then they gotta deal with Thanos. What do? Do you I guess we gotta deal with this now. Okay, that's fine. I don't know.
All right, I have a better note about the end credit scene.
Okay, go ahead.
This is where the Grandmaster pops out of his ship and declares the revolution on his planet Atai.
It's just it was Jeff Goldblum being so. Josh, I like Jeff Goldblum in this too, right? You liked him too, right?
Oh, he was again just a beautiful chin in this movie.
But hopefully we get more Grandmaster at some point. I think, and hopefully we get back to Sakaar. I think even though the Plant Hulk stuff wasn't what I liked, I think it'd be fun to have a nice little the Grandmaster Disney Plus series would be fun to watch. I would watch it. I'd watch it. At this point. But it's just kind of in the comics, Mike. There is a revolution, and Hulk becomes king of the planet. So it's a little different than what the ending of that is.
Okay, cool.
Mike, are you going to read Plant Hulk? I feel like you should.
He won't. I was going to say, I get the vibe that he won't already. So
I probably won't. But I do want to check out that Infinite Comics, the vertical scrolling thing.
Yeah, there has to be a YouTube thing. You can just type in Plant Hulk into YouTube, and someone's probably made an animated thing for it. Just watch that.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that too much? Okay, it's too much. All right.
Might do that. All
right. So, Mike, how do you feel? Because this is it, man. The next movies are going to be the Infinity War. How do you feel?
And you're saying we're going to do 2 hours on each of those, right?
I am saying that. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's Josh. Go ahead.
Can I come back for those?
I would love it, Mike.
Yeah,
you good?
Yeah,
dude. Yes. Yeah, it would be great. Yes,
especially if we're going to be talking for 2 hours.
I cried.
We need a third voice.
I cried like a baby at the end of this movie. So.
Wow. No.
Yeah.
Save it, because I have a great story about that. So save it for next podcast. Such a good story. I don't want to ruin it. But yeah, right. This is real quick. Josh, I'm glad you're here because I get to kind of tell this to someone. Mike's initial idea of this podcast was he's going to watch Marvel movies, and then because of I have some history in the comics, I was able to fill in some gaps. And when we first started this, I was like, okay, we'll do a couple, we'll see how it goes. And we're at almost the end of like the infinity part of the series, like all the movies, and like I just want to say, Mike, this has been fun. And I'm looking forward to doing more of these, of course, because we have a ton more to do. But I never would have thought we would have gotten to the Infinity War. I never would have thought I'd have to create show notes for something so massive. I don't even Josh. Mike sent me a text. He's like, "We need to make the show notes shorter. I only want 5 notes." I'm like, "You're getting a book, dude."
And then you showed me the show notes you had for Spider-Man. I'm like, "Oh wow,
dude, yeah. That's nothing. That's nothing compared to what I got to do for the Infinity War. Oh my goodness!" But I'm pretty excited.
All right. Before we get into like all the promotion at the end of our podcast here, Josh, Jay and I are watching the What If episodes. Are you watching those too?
No, I haven't, because I'm kind of upset that they're just doing the MCU What If,
wow.
and not the real What If.
I love it. No, I love it because that's our complaint. That's my complaint. Yep. Dude,
yep. Even me as somebody that doesn't read comics, it's just like I wanted something new, something fresh. Like I don't need the remixes of the MCU.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
So there's a Hyundai commercial that's What If, but it's a Hyundai commercial, and it shows Thor driving a Hyundai with the hammer hitting like Ultron robots. Have you guys seen that at all?
No,
you might not have seen it. But it's a Hyundai commercial. It's for Hyundai. I think that scene's actually going to be in one of the episodes. You're going to see a scene where Thor drives through a portal in a Hyundai, swinging a hammer, hitting robots. So I'm just warning you now.
But Josh, are you calling out like a new low for the What If series?
Josh, just to let you know, you're not missing anything. Don't watch it. Just don't watch it.
Actually, the first episode was good. Jay and I both like the first episode.
The first episode's good, and there's a Doctor Strange episode that also is good. That's as far as we... Okay, he doesn't...
The Doctor Strange one didn't grab me, but a lot of people liked it.
It is good, but don't... So, Josh, just to let you know, there was a Marvel Zombies What If episode that was terrible.
Bad.
And how you going to mess that up? So there you go.
So, I mean, you had Jonathan Hickman... Not Jonathan Hickman. Who is the writer of The Walking Dead?
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. You had Kirkman writing those series.
Wait, the guy who did Walking Dead...
the showrunner? Is he the showrunner for What If?
No, but...
so the guy who wrote The Walking Dead wrote a Marvel Zombie series, the comics? He wrote those?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did. Okay, yeah.
Oh my god! And they messed it up. And they messed up the web series that bad. Oh my god!
Yeah, the What If of the so Jay hadn't read the Marvel Zombies, so he assigned me to read the Marvel Zombies comics, which I did. Didn't enjoy like spoiling by reading just the way comics are formatted, but anyway, so I read that. So he was asking questions and I was answering them on that episode, but. The reason you're avoiding What If is exactly what they did for that one episode times 1,000. They took the Marvel Zombies idea and then they threw in a whole bunch of stuff from the MCU that didn't really fit well in it.
So just to kind of seal the deal for you, Josh, there's a scene where Scott Lang's discombobulated head is in a jar talking with the Doctor Strange cape around it, like carrying him around.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Can you hear my audible sigh?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it came through clear. Yeah. Jay said that cape actually was like one of the major characters in that What If episode. And he's pretty much right.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to watching it again, but we got to. We have a job to do.
Right.
So Josh, how can people listen to your podcast?
You can follow me on Twitter at JoshCBC. You can go check out my podcast. It's craftbeercast.com. And anything that you guys could do, I would appreciate it.
Mike, how can people listen to us?
We're on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, all of the major podcasting apps. If you're trying to find us on something and can't find us, let us know. We'll fix that. We're also on YouTube where we post clips from the podcast. And we're on Twitter at Super Sideshow.
Yep.
Jay, you said you're working on a Reddit. How's that coming?
Not good, because I'm not good, but I'm working on Reddit, and hopefully it'll be done soon. And when it is, you guys can jump in there, and all four of you guys can jump in there and talk about the podcast. I think it'll be fun.